If you've completed the SAP program and you're wondering if you will ever get hired again, you will, and you're not alone. So a lot of good drivers get stuck here in this part, getting back to work, but I want to let you know it is totally possible. I mean, honestly, I've done probably over 500 SAP assessments, and 99% of the drivers are back to work. The 1% that's not, they're still stuck in prohibited status because they refuse to go to treatment to address the issue that brought them to the SAP in the first place. So you just need to know where to look and how to present yourself. So let's break that down. If you're new here, I'm Cindy. I'm a DOT qualified SAP, and I've done over like 500 SAP assessments and helped drivers get through this process and get back to work. I know it can feel impossible. The process is confusing. You've done the hard work. You've finished what the SAP recommended, and now no one's calling you back. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through why they're having problems with that. Also give you some tips about looking for a job with a company that's SAP friendly, to give yourself a better chance of getting hired again. So here's your reality check. A DOT violation doesn't mean your career's over. It's just a pause. And if you apply to jobs and they're saying, oh, we don't work with the SAP, it's mainly because their liability insurance won't take on the risk of SAP drivers. That's it. It's nothing personal. It's their company policy. Also, there's misunderstanding. A lot of companies don't understand how the SAP process works. They're scared of the SAP process. So hopefully you found a SAP that's receptive to kind of educating the companies about what their responsibilities are with return to duty testing and follow-up testing. So I always tell the drivers I work with, like, hey, if your company has any questions, give them my number, have them reach out. I'll help explain it to them. And I also actually, when I send them the follow-up testing plan, I also communicate that as well, so that if there are questions, they will ask, because I want the driver's clearinghouse and follow-up testing plan to be implemented correctly. Now, once you have completed your return to duty test, let's say you hired a consortium to help you with that. Before you start applying for jobs, check your clearinghouse. Make sure step 5 is checked off. And if you've gotten a letter from DMV about the downgrade, that you've gone down, paid the reinstatement fee, and had DMV turn your CDL back on, because that looks more appealing to employers, because they can't hire you without doing a clearinghouse query. So if you're checked off through step 5, you're good to get back on the road. All they're going to ask is, they'll say, I need the SAP's paperwork. You'll reach out to your SAP, sign a release of information form for the company, and then the SAP will send them the follow-up letter and testing plan. But just remember, if it still says prohibited in there, no company can hire you until step 5 is checked off. And now that we have the DMV piece, you need to make sure you're good to go with DMV, so that when you're on the road, like you're just driving. Another thing I recommend is keep your paperwork organized. Your SAP will send you a letter, a follow-up letter that says you're eligible for return to duty testing. It's not the complete paperwork. You will not have page 2, which is the follow-up testing plan. That can only go from a SAP to the employer, or a SAP to a drug testing consortium if you're an owner-operator. So just make sure you have that letter, because you can show it to the employer. They'll say, I need the next page, so you'll reach out to your SAP. Like I said earlier, sign the release information form. The SAP will send them what they need to send them, and then you'll be good to go. And the employer will implement the follow-up testing plan, which is in addition to the random tests you already take. Now, be smart where you start applying, right? You want to, the mega carriers, they may have automatic rejection filters on their applications. So I always encourage drivers to look at small to mid-size fleets, mid-size companies, the recovery friendly companies, the second chance or SAP friendly companies. You might want to start there. And if you don't know where to look, in the description, I have a link to my link tree, and under the free resources, I have a SAP Friendly Trucking company list that I've compiled over the years as drivers have told me what is SAP friendly and what is not, or no longer SAP friendly. I update the list. Now, there's also consider local county and city governments. That's another one that will require a CDL, but they'll hire drivers on to take equipment to job sites. So there's a lot of different things you can do with your CDL. So just look at it that way. You have a lot of options out there. Now, what to say when they ask about the SAP? I encourage you, be honest but brief. They don't need the whole backstory. They just need to know that moving forward, you learned your lesson, you're going to be responsible and safety focused. That's it. Because a lot of times drivers disclose too much, and that can be like a real red flag to employers. So you really want to build yourself up and just say, hey, I'm ready, I want to be compliant moving forward. Can you help me with that, kind of thing. And I'm focused on safety. I'm responsible. That's what they want to hear. I know this part of the journey can feel discouraging, but it's not the end of your career. Let me tell you that. I've seen so many drivers come back from the SAP, and you can too. So if you need a little help, check out the description box. There's the link to the link tree where under free resources, you can find the SAP Friendly Trucking Company list. I also have a job hunter pack over there that kind of helps you get prepared for these interviews, with some email templates and what to say and don't say kind of thing, And if you find these videos helpful, feel free to subscribe. I try to make weekly videos kind of breaking down the process, giving you some tips and things like that. And thank you for watching. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to drop a comment. I will respond. And until next time, take care of yourself.